Hi, I'm Aura mostly, but I think some other people are around. And I'm here with Primal Pack, and we're gonna be reacting to another Sandersides video. This time it's dealing with intrusive thoughts, and now there's a Charlie cam, so you can see if Charlie's being cute or acting out or whatever she might be doing. So yeah, we do know that they're not trying to portray DID, but they still do a pretty dang good job of it, so...
Like an ovum. The Duke is like Roman's twin, the embodiment of bad imagination, which is primarily experienced by you via intrusive thoughts.
You made me this way, Thomas. I was the unloved brother from the Genesis. Roman and I are Cain and Abel. And that Cain up your butt makes you unable to explore more mature ideas in your content.
What is it with you and butts?
Hey, prude. Your art is bad.
You're attacking my livelihood now? Thomas's friends and family is one thing, but his work is nothing sacred?
Yeah,
Wait, what about my friends and family?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you forget the part where I'm your creativity? Obviously, I have opinions on the matter.
But are they opinions that matter? Especially if they're hurting you.
For someone who prefers salty flavors, your videos are rather saccharine. What will your legacy be? Will you even have one? How about this? You get buck naked on camera and self-immolate to Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. Now that'll leave an impression.
Wow, I hate him. I hate him.
Haters gonna hate.
I wouldn't want my legacy to be subjecting people to something they didn't want to see.
Why not? That's life. People seeing, hearing, and experiencing things they'd rather not see, hear, or experience.
Maybe so, but I don't want to add to life's unpleasantness.
Oh, so you're going to baby them? Do you want to rock the cradle, Daddy? Rock the cradle in the treetop?
Why is the cradle in a treetop? No one knows.
Ooh. Blurriness. In our experience, it can be fairly common for persecutors to have that kind of attitude of that, like, taking people's feelings and consent and stuff like that seriously is like patronizing and babying them, and that's not what the real world is like and all of those things. That was very familiar. It can also, like, I feel like that perspective can also be essentially that it's a disservice to people to pretend that the world will treat them that well. But I don't think that being like the less good parts of the world prepares someone better for dealing with more of that later. I don't think trauma is the best way to prepare people for trauma. So, I don't really buy that argument, but I do kind of see where it's coming from. And it's also a pretty common argument used in various contexts in our society. Particularly parenting.
Oh, it's irresponsible parenting.
Or do you want to be the wind that causes the cradle to fall? And then the baby dies.
That's horrible.
Look, pleasant metaphors aren't really my strong suit.
You have a strong suit?
I do, my birthday suit.
Okay, well.
Okay, new metaphor. Nudging the baby bird to leave the nest and take flight.
Okay, there! Yes! That's it! Oh, maybe there's hope for you after all! Wait for it.
And the baby bird immediately flies straight into an unseen jet turbine and causes the entire plane to come crashing down. And no one survives.
What is your deal?
What is my deal? Bitch, what is your deal? I'm your creativity. What does that say about you?
My deal? Thomas doesn't have a deal.
If I have a deal, then Thomas has a deal. Deal or no deal?
Roman is Thomas's creativity too, so...
Do I need to remind you of what Thomas was thinking about last night? I I just did what I do as one of Thomas's sides. If I am awful, then so is Thomas.
Not all thoughts have some profound meaning behind them. Some are worthless.
Virgil, you've never been one to soften the truth. Why would you aspire to be so boring?
Those thoughts weren't Thomas.
So what? Thomas thought someone else's thoughts? Do we have ourselves a classic case of brain swap?
Maybe. He's right.
Really?
Not you. The Duke.
What?
The reality is, you thought those thoughts, Thomas.
Oh no. Oh no. Is Thomas a bad person? Why do you keep asking that?
We still haven't gotten an answer. He hasn't acted on any of the thoughts yet, so at least there's that.
Okay.
But there's definitely something wrong with him. And unfortunately, he's not the naturally good person that you wish he was, Patton.
But Thomas always tries to put others before himself. We've all seen it.
Yeah, he can act like a good person, just like Deceit can act like you. But we've also seen that doing what he thinks is right can be pretty difficult for him.
Okay, you two are blowing this one way out of proportion.
Logan.
I'm gonna go ahead and say at this point that it's mostly Shadow. Which means I guess I should take myself off of the list of conscious people.
I'm sorry, but Thomas can't logic his way out of this one. Facts are facts, and the fact is, Thomas had twisted thoughts that a stable person would never have.
Actually, a stable person, as you put it, could absolutely have those thoughts.
Shut your mouth or I'll tear off your nipples and shove them up your nose.
Okay, so we just have to fake it till we make it? Ooh, like how Thomas is going to imagine making a sandcastle out of Joan's ashes until he actually gets to do it.
Stop!
No, like how you fake being good at something until you are. And this something is being a good person. But how do you fake not thinking about something?
Yeah, didn't we try that earlier when we talked about Just Like Heaven?
Why?
In trying to distract yourself from those unwanted thoughts, you seem to have created a mental connection between 2005's Just Like Heaven and last night's intrusive thoughts that wouldn't have otherwise existed.
Uh-oh, I'm here with the main characters from Just Like Heaven, David Abbott and Elizabeth Masterson, and I can do with them as I please. No, not David Abbott and Elizabeth Masterson!
You bastard. Okay, you can't pretend that that isn't happening.
I'm about to smash the Hulk. You can pretend on the outside.
What does that even mean?
As long as
That means masking. Which, from experience, is part of how to handle intrusive thoughts in public. At least part of how we do it. I have no idea if it's healthy, but the masking thing might have been all I wanted to say at that point. I don't know.
these kinds of thoughts stay in Thomas's head, turn into a ghost, then that's good enough for now. Turn into the Hulk! Patton, of course they would stay in my head. Why would I want to do any of this in real life?
You tell us. You're the one who's thinking about it.
Yeah, I didn't make him throw the baby. I merely gave him a baby and a large, sharp knife.
Not acting on every thought that he has isn't faking anything. I can't think of how one would fake not doing something other than by doing something and hiding that they're doing it.
Ooh, how fun. You know who could help us with that?
One of you is enough.
No, you guys aren't understanding me. They would stay in Thomas's head because he would pretend like he never had the thoughts in the first place.
So we're back to repression then.
Logan said that that doesn't work.
That's what repression is? Well, what other options do we have? Virgil, I don't want to do what he says. You mean you don't want to act on what you think? Virgil, enough.
Oh, here we go, Virgil. Looks like Logan has reached his listening to others limit for the day.
This is not about me wanting to be listened to. You all are not listening to Thomas. What he's saying is worth noting. But what if he's lying? I can assure you he's not. You're just expressing an unhealthy amount of concern. Thank you for being on guard. But for now, you must listen.
You have...
That was progress for Logan. He caught himself about to say something that would hurt Virgil, and even though it's arguably accurate for this situation, he specifically rephrased so that it would hurt Virgil less, and made a point to thank him for his concern.
You have to believe me, Virg. Patton, I am not at all enticed by anything the Duke is saying. I do not identify with anything about him.
Dress me up however you want, Thomas. I can be covert if you'd like.
Psychologist Dr. Norman Epstein once said, if a thought like that pops into your head, but you're not bothered by it at all, that could be a problem. Does Thomas seem bothered to you? He does.
But what about Jeffrey Dahmer? He was pretty bothered, too.
He certainly was bothered. As a child. And he outgrew those feelings. Thomas is still distraught by his forbidden thoughts as an adult. Furthermore, Jeffrey Dahmer went on to murder innocent people. Say, how many people have you murdered, Thomas?
None.
Well, that can't be where the bar is. Patton, you of all sides should know that it isn't. Thomas, you're a religious man, correct?
Yeah, but there have been plenty of bad religious people throughout history.
Well, I cannot argue with that. Religion is not perfect, but when it is not abused, piety is just as valid as the innumerable other ways to live a principled life. To the best of your ability, you try to live your life based on a moral code set by your faith, correct? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, love thy neighbor as thyself, etc.
Yeah.
Thou shalt not kill is one such principle, but it certainly couldn't be said that that's where the figurative bar has been set. Couldn't all this talk of religion create a connection between Thomas's beliefs and his intrusive thoughts?
Careful, Virgil. You're giving me ideas.
Actually, Virgil, Thomas's faith and his relationship with the Duke are and always have been inextricable.
I don't know about all that.
Thomas's Catholic upbringing has instilled in him that thought is a precursor to action. Consider some of the 7 deadly sins: greed, pride, envy, lust, wrath. 5 of the 7 deadly sins are committed in your head. There's a reason why the Duke has continuously used religious language. He's playing to your sensitivities. It's fine if you disapprove of toxic thinking, but you can't banish any and all unpleasant thoughts when there's a constant stream of thoughts going through your head at all times. The Duke was right.
What?
Not only does repression not work, but it can be very bad indeed. I understand that your natural human reaction when you see something disturbing is to look away. But if you let me examine the Duke's contributions, then I could expose him for being unrealistic and figuratively dress him down.
Oh, well, if that's what you wanted, Logan, you could have just said so.
I said figuratively, and that is why I say it.
That is why I say it!
The real problem here isn't the disgusting drivel coming from the Duke.
Ooh, thank you for the alliterative regards, Logan. I love being given 2 D's at once.
Okay, then what is the real problem, Logan? It's you.
Uh-oh, looks like the cat's out of the ball bag. Despite his best efforts, Virgil could never stop being the bad guy.
Oh, and, Patton.
Record scratch?
Patton? How? He's being too strict. Oh my goodness. Patton is being too strict. It's not me for once? What does that mean? Am I cool? Does this make me cool? Am I being cool? Oh my gosh. My teeth.
Yeah,
I thought you said...
I changed my mind. I'm unpredictable like that. I bet that really gets to you, huh, Logan? The opposite of rationality. There is no rhyme or reason to what I do. I just do. And what I do is wreak havoc.
I'd say you just reek. Figuratively. Also, literally, though.
Oh, what do you have to say to that, Duke? Thank you? Reek is what I was going for. Well, I mean, my deodorant's flavor is pickled poo logs.
Flavor. Deodorants don't have flavors. You don't eat deodorant.
Maybe you don't.
Okay, I got one, guys. Since we call Roman Princey, does that mean we should call you Dookie?
Dookie? I love it. Please do.
Wow. Okay, well, there really is nothing you can say to him.
Or you could just call me by my name.
Remus.
You told me? Right off the bat? Just like that?
Of course I did, Dr. Seuss. I would never hide anything from you.
The truth is, Remus.
So that's obviously manipulative, and it's a jab at Virgil. But it's also, I would argue, a sign of his specific trauma of being repressed and ignored all the time. He wants to be seen. He's not trying to hide anything. Well, he's not trying to hide most things about himself, at least. But it was also definitely a jab at Virgil. But hiding things about yourself that you're not ready to share yet is not lying, at least not in a way that I would consider bad. It's okay to take as long as you need to share things about yourself. Even if that means never sharing it. In a system context or any other context.
Again, people are not entitled to information about you of any kind, even if they think they should be. For a less system-coded thing, your gender, your biology, what parts you have, what's your favorite food or color, nobody is entitled to that information. Some of it people call harmless, other parts people don't. It doesn't matter if they consider it harmless or not. They are not entitled to it. It's not their information, it's yours. Whether or not you give it is up to you. And anybody who tries to force you is generally not doing good.
Yeah. There's a common trope that we see a lot, especially in a relationship context in media and stuff like that, of, like, if you trusted me, you would tell me everything type thing. And we find that the opposite is closer to true. Of, if you trusted me, you wouldn't need me, like, you wouldn't push me so hard to tell you something I'm not comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
There's a category of things that are different from that, like, but not because it's a secret, because it's a separate breach of trust. Like, if there's a specific agreement in the relationship and you're secretly breaking that agreement by cheating or whatever else, that's different, but it's because of the action more so than the secret.
Yeah. I consider it more trustworthy if you're able to live with me or whatever and function around me and not tell me everything. Because you don't have to. And if you feel like you have to, that means either I'm doing something wrong or there is other stuff going on that has made you feel that way, and that's not okay. Because then it's not uncoerced consent.
Yeah.
Which is debatably one of the most important things. Consent is not consent if it's forced.
Exactly.
It's like somebody saying, hey, give me your wallet if you want to live or whatever, and they're robbing you or some shit like that. That doesn't mean you gave it to them and they can just have it. It's still a robbery. It was not full consent. That doesn't count.
Yeah. Also, it's not like a sign that something's wrong with you if you have secrets that you want to keep that you aren't comfortable sharing. It can be tied to a lot of things like trauma and stuff like that, but it doesn't have to be, and it's just a normal human experience to keep some things to yourself at least some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't share every detail about themselves with every person in their life. And many, many, many people don't share every detail about themselves with any person in their life.
You usually don't even have time to share that amount of information. Most people don't even want to know it.
But even if they do want to, they're not entitled to it.
Yeah. Like, I want to know a lot about Collective. That does not mean I want to know whether or not they farted when they took a shit in 3rd grade. I don't care. Like, cool, you want to share that, if that's what you want to share. It is irrelevant whether or not I know that information, and that doesn't mean they're lying if they don't tell that to me, or it doesn't mean they're not trustworthy or hiding shit. Shit takes time to get talked about and come up in conversation. And whether or not the person's trustworthy has nothing to do with that. Some people, what makes you trustworthy to be told that information? It has nothing to do with whether or not they're trustworthy about who they are. Why are you someone who is trustworthy to give that information to? Like Achilles' weakness. What would make you the reason that you would be entitled to know that? How come you're trustworthy? What if you're the person who's going to kill Achilles? What if you're the bad guy? It takes time to figure that out. A lot of people tend to do like probing questions or answers to see how you handle a topic before they broach a specific thing or whatever. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. There are a bunch of safety reasons to keep secrets from at least some people. Or everybody. But there can also be just comfort reasons. Or whatever else. Like, that's another important thing, is you don't have to have, like, a good enough reason. Any reason or no reason is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you shouldn't have to explain why you don't want to tell someone for them to stop bugging you about it.
Mm-hmm.
No is a complete sentence. In a system context, this can come up a lot with amnesia-related stuff like trauma information, but also with just like any general information about any other alter. We have a lot of alters in our system who don't share their name, who don't share their age, most alters in our system don't share their trauma, at least in detail, or at least with most other alters in our system. But it can also be very different depending on who they're around and who they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there are things that we share with, say, Primal Pack that we don't share here, or that we share with our therapist that we don't share here.
Yeah.
Or that most of the, like, front-facing is how I kind of think about it. Front-facing protectors and stuff like that in our system, the ones who deal with external stuff for the most part. A lot of us will know basic information about a lot of things that we also won't share with most other people in or out of our system. So yeah, Secrets aren't inherently a bad thing.
You don't get to me in the slightest. Object impermanence renders you pretty unintimidating.
Ooh.
What's so frightening about something with no real-world impact?
Oh, shut up, nerdy Wolverine.
How about you shut up?
You wouldn't know impact if it hit you in the face. Oh! You killed him!
He does make an impact. Does he?
Yeah, I would have gotten a full night's sleep if it weren't for him.
Lack of sleep can negatively affect your memory, it weakens your immune system, and it increases your risk of heart disease. And that's only some of the potential side effects.
Right, yeah, exactly. Ooh, maybe I am a little scary.
However, your lack of sleep last night was the result of Virgil's reaction to Remus, not Remus himself. So, the Duke only has power over you because Virgil and Patton believe that he does. Because you fear him. Without that, he'd have a much harder time hurting you. So what do you think? Can we logic our way out of this one?
I think we can.
Not really. No, there's no way to force intrusive thoughts out of your head. Please pay attention. That said, you can learn to better deal with intrusive thoughts.
Moving on.
My devious plan was a success. You were all momentarily distracted.
Anyway, this issue extends...
Extends? You remember that erection medicine?
This issue goes beyond taking Remus seriously. Another major concern is when you try too hard to make sense of him.
But all of those horrible thoughts, I mean, they have to mean something.
No, they don't. Virgil was right. Not all thoughts are meaningful. Remus said it himself, and I'm sure he'll say it again.
There is no rhyme or reason to what I do. I just do. A scoodly boo. Oh, maybe there is a rhyme.
If you aggressively interrogate Thomas about why the Duke said or did something, then you're only going to hurt Thomas. I mean, look at him now. He barely got any rest, due in large part to you two chastising him all night.
I acted like a real beehole. Wait, is he gone?
No, I think he's gone.
Nails on a chalkboard! Oh God!
Jeez.
Literally, like fingernails nailed to a chalkboard. Oh my gosh, it got worse. I didn't think it could get worse. Oh!
Don't do that.
Good point that they're like halfway through making, but I just want to throw out there that I am very glad they did not actually put in a sound effect of nails on a chalkboard. Because I don't know that we could have rewatched the video if they did that. But yeah, the thing they're halfway through saying right now of pointing out the fact that intrusive thoughts went away is a great way to trigger more intrusive thoughts. Because you start looking for them.
Never check to see if you've successfully gotten rid of him.
Why is Remus becoming such a nuisance right now?
Well, how are you doing right now?
I don't know. I'm fine.
Virgil, how's he doing?
He recently realized he's a bigger liar than he thought he was. He doesn't understand himself. He's committed to skipping a big callback, and he's sleep deprived. So yeah, he feels like a piece of dirt who has no control over his life.
Okay, yeah. And that is precisely why the Duke feels like such a threat, in part at least. The feeling that you may be a bad person who doesn't have control over yourself or your destiny causes you to fear that you may actually act on these thoughts.
What if you sniffed your dog's spot?
Shut up. I guess that makes sense. I mean, I sound the alarm whenever Roman suggests Thomas talk to a cute guy, so it follows that I would have even more of a reaction to Remus's suggestions.
Speaking of suggestions, when are you actually going to jump out of a moving car? I've been bringing it up for years. Still nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty used to that one.
But to view the Duke's contributions as suggestions is almost exaggerative. This issue is more of a matter of over-control than impulse control.
So it is okay to jump out of a moving car?
No, but it is okay if the thought of jumping out of a car happens to cross your mind.
Okay, well, we've heard a lot about what not to do. What can we do?
Well, I'd imagine that you will now recognize many of the Duke's contributions as intrusive thoughts, which is actually really important. You must accept that these thoughts just happen. And again, the substance of these thoughts typically provide no insight into your true character.
Poopy!
It's like if you had a child who, despite all of your best efforts, refuses to stop screaming on an airplane.
Poopy!
There's no out. Just accept it. They'll tire themselves out in time, and you can better address the issue later. There's no rush for you.
Poopy.
It's okay. Just keep doing whatever you were doing before. The other passengers on the plane might become frustrated, and that's okay too. Everything is okay.
Wow.
I want to throw out there, I think we kind of said this earlier, but the part about intrusive thoughts having like no meaning for the type of person you actually are, it might actually go further than that, where they show you the type of person you aren't, kind of, because intrusive thoughts are like tailor-made in most cases to horrify the person they're happening to. So you're having those intrusive thoughts because those things horrify you, which means they're like further from the type of person you are. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You're so against the idea of being that kind of a person and so far from being that kind of a person that the very idea of being that kind of a person tortures you.
They said that in the video.
Yeah.
That was amazing, Logan.
And you can always talk to someone. Wegner, who I mentioned earlier, as well as psychologist James Pennebaker, found that subjects who talked about their thoughts often felt better emotionally and physically. According to one study, in the United States, roughly 1 in 50 people suffer from intrusive thoughts. So you're not alone. And if you can't find a personal friend who will listen or understand, then you should consider seeing a professional if the thoughts are really troubling you.
I don't know.
If you have joint problems, you see a rheumatologist. If you have stomach problems, you see a gastroenterologist. And therefore, if you have mental health problems, you see
A therapist.
and or a psychiatrist. When something is hurting you or inhibiting you, you seek someone who can help.
I didn't realize what an impossible standard I've been setting. I can't control every little thing that pops into your head. This may be unnecessary, but it's okay if you sometimes think some icky thoughts, Thomas. You have my permission.
He doesn't need it.
It's not unnecessary.
Actually, that does kind of help, Patton.
And as for you... that's really not necessary, Thomas.
Why don't you just take a breather, kiddo? Yeah, I should.
You know, it's funny. You used to really unsettle me. I thought that you were some terrible illness. Now I can see that you're just a common cold. A mild inconvenience that's gone before you know it.
You tickle me, Emo. Well, I enjoyed this. Good seeing you again, Virgil. Ah, it was just like old times.
I can see now why everyone was reluctant to tell me what was going on.
Roman!
You're alive!
I love you!
Are you good?
I don't know.
Oh, are you hurt at all?
My head's fine. More than anything, I feel like I was struck by a realization. Like
Einstein with the apple.
You mean Newton?
Oh, shut up, nerdy Wolverine. No! Ugh. I mean... I'm sorry, Logan. I didn't mean that. It's quite all right, Roman. However, the more pertinent question is Thomas all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all right. All right. Am I right?
That was not all right.
That word's been said so much now that it sounds all wrong.
Well, I believe I was summoned to help address this matter, and it seems to be settled now. Your next course of action should be settling into bed for the night to revitalize your immune system as well as your short-term memory. You wouldn't want to forget everything you've just learned.
Logan, thank you so much.
Oh, please, don't mention it. Just another day's work.
No, seriously, you're really cool.
Yeah, I'll try not to pester you too much tonight, kiddo. Now, I can't promise that I'll never have another knee-jerk reaction, but I can try to make peace with whatever thoughts dance through your head, whether they be sugar plums or
Smelly bums!
or that.
This was fun. A Thomas sandwich. Hold the Roman lettuce. You should really make that the usual because Roman will make you sick. And yet, as soon as I was removed from the picture, Thomas had a dookie problem. Thomas already made a dookie joke. Bye!
Don't like him.
So, you have a brother?
Yeah. It's a little like looking into a funhouse mirror, but instead of a giant head or like long legs and a tiny torso, it shows you everything you don't want to be.
That doesn't sound like a very fun house.
Yeah. But whatever, you know? He's gone now and he's never coming back.
Oh, I don't think that's...
Bye!
Oh,
Back to denial, I
Virgil?
see.
You okay, buddy?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I just... I'm a little disappointed in myself. I thought that I would be able to protect you from them.
The dark sides?
The others. I thought I knew how to handle them.
Oh, well, I think we're all trying to figure them out for now. It'll take some time to figure everything out.
Yeah, but I should know better.
Isn't that kind of unfair? Why should you be held to a different standard than any other side?
Because I was one of them.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sorry that you all had to see any of that. The Duke stuff, I mean. Or Remus. I know that intrusive thoughts, especially intrusive thoughts of the disturbing variety, are a taboo subject that can be scary to deal with. And sometimes scarier to talk about. Even though it's a relatively common phenomenon, it's easy to feel like you've crossed some line and thought the unthinkable. But please, if there's one thing you take away from this video, let it be this. Those thoughts that you may have thought do not define you. We are thinking machines. Your brain generates ideas so easily, you literally do it in your sleep. So a thought alone cannot make you a bad person, especially an unwelcome thought. To echo the words of American journalist Paul Roberts, in the end, the most damaging, forbidden thought, the one we have been trained to block at every turn, may simply be that we are really okay. Until next time, take it easy, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Peace out.
Go to bed.
Okay.
I'm really glad they covered this topic. Even if it's hard to watch sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. The eye roll thing is pretty much exactly how we handle intrusive thoughts now, on a good day.
All done.
Gross. All right, I'm gonna go make the promo for this video.
Seconds, anyone? There's a snake in my butt.
Uh-huh. How do we end videos?
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Yeah, that's part of it. Oh, we have an end card. Forgot. Okay. This has been an episode of DID Systems React to Sandersides. We'll put the playlist of all of our other Sandersides reactions on the screen in case you missed any. And we'll also put a link to the original Sandersides video in case you want to go watch that. The series is very good and we highly recommend it. If you liked our video, I hope you'll like and subscribe and ring the bell and all that fun stuff so that you see any of our other videos that you might also like. And we're working on another subscriber goal in order to do another compilation video to celebrate and all that stuff. And as always, special thanks to our patrons, and the link to our Patreon and Etsy and Discord and wishlist and everything else is in the description box. All of those things help us out a lot. And now I think I'm at thanks for watching. Bye. So, thanks for watching. Bye.